moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us live here in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Denise, your favorite youth host. And yes, we are just about 8 days away from Christmas. Many of you are returning home from exams. Many of you are returning home from the cold. Many of you are returning home or visiting Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome, and I hope you guys have an auspicious Christmas. Many of you are still shopping and buying the curtains. Welcome and good morning. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Good morning. I'm also joined with
Natalia and Angus. Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning to our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on Amplia. Yes, it is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Dwayne, I'm joining you there. You sung just like the Christmas tune. I wish you have sung it, but it's fine. It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yeah, it's actually snowing outside. Our version of snow is just a little bit wetter, but and a little bit warmer, but it is snowing outside, as you can see. But I am really beginning to anticipate the Christmas vibe. I can't wait for my black cake. Many of you already know that I love black cake, right? Natalia, you love black cake, is it?
Yes, I do.
Oh, thank you, Jesus, because I would have run you from the set here this morning. But guys, we want to do something kind of unorthodox this morning, and before our birthday segment, to wish the beautiful, the elegant Miss Natalia Nancis a belated birthday. She celebrated her 16th birthday yesterday, guys. She's getting younger. I saw some videos where she was sipping and eating and having a good time, a lot of gifts, so you could imagine what her Christmas will look like next week. I want to wish you a happy birthday, Miss Nancis.
Thank you so much,
It's a pleasure co-hosting with you.
It's always a pleasure with you as well.
Yes. So we want to go over to news in 90 seconds with Miss Natalia Nancis.
And now it's time for your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. Christmas sales in Tobago are reportedly down despite an influx of visitors, according to Curtis Williams, chairman of the Tobago division of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Williams attributes the decline to 2024's challenging economic trends, but remains optimistic for a turnaround. The Chamber is focusing on uniting the business community, supporting economic initiatives, and assisting new and struggling businesses. The public is invited to share condolences with the family of Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris Julian, who tragically passed away in a fire on Monday, 16 December 2024. A condolence book is available for signing at the Rotunda of the Red House starting today from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and will remain open daily until further notice. Members of Parliament and other dignitaries are also encouraged to sign. The Tobago House of Assembly has extended the Robinson Day island-wide cleanup campaign to continue throughout the week in all communities. Residents are urged to place unwanted items at the curbside for collection and can contact Public Health District coordinators for assistance. Wynwood 751-6630, Central 733-6861, Northside 750-5618, Leeward 475-1605. According to the THA, this initiative seeks to promote environmental sustainability and community involvement. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
I know we just celebrated a very special birthday, but we want to go straight over to our birthdays this morning. But I think it would be remiss of me if I don't give a special shout out to some of our ardent viewers. Just a minute. I know we're a bit excited for the birthdays, but I want to wish, I want to say a special good morning to Miss Brenda Campbell. Good morning, and many of you that are viewing us here live on the stream on YouTube or Facebook. So our first birthday this morning, drum roll please.
Drum roll, drum roll.
Mr. Karen George. Our special birthday goes out to you from the Tobago Updates family. We do hope that you enjoy your birthday today. And who do we have next?
We have Courtney Potts. You are born in the best month of the year. Let me just start with that first. I just want to wish you a happy birthday and God's blessings to you on your special day today.
Guys, I just want to kind of just say right after Mrs. My apologies. You know, Nancy's statement of the best month. I just want to put it out there that, guys, fishermen never says that they have rank fish to sell. They have fresh fish, despite the fact that fish is inordinately inherently rank. However, you know, Miss Nancy's, you know, Christmas is one of the best seasons
Holidays.
of the year.
Correct.
And it happens to fall in December, which is the last month of the year. But yes, I have no dispute there. I just wanted to put that statement out there.
I thought you were going to argue against. I'm happy that you were able to tell the truth this morning.
Perhaps you need to rewind. But anyway, we have a quite exciting rundown for you this morning, short but sweet. This morning we are going to be discussing logos. So some of you might know or might have observed a ship docking in our harbor, and many of you who might be my age or a bit older would have experienced the logos growing up. It's the library under the sea. It's docked at our Scarborough port, and we're going to be speaking with two important persons who are a part of that venture. Miss Nancy and I will be conducting that interview, and then we have the last two segments relative to the Tobago Day debate, as we would have known that this is the season of the Tobago Day celebrations hosted by the Tobago House of Assembly, and they have a series of events, and namely they had this, I think it was last week, they had their youth debate in the at Jerningham Street, Scarborough. So guys, that is it for a rundown this morning.
Hold on, Dwayne. Just pause for 1 second.
Sure.
Now, I know you saw those videos on my status yesterday, that lovely breakfast and the drinks that we had. That was in light of birthday celebrations happening from the 17th to the 18th. So the person that put that together would be Miss Adriana Bello. And I want to wish her a happy birthday today, and I really do hope you enjoy it. She said that every day is a spa day for you. I hope that this spa day is filled with more spa stuff to do. All right, so happy birthday to you, Miss Bello.
Yeah, quite a lot of persons being born in December.
Of course.
We need to look into that. But guys, we just want to be right back. We just want to tell you to do one thing for us as we go and come back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
We'll be right back.
Unwrap the magic of Christmas and have the best Christmas ever with a Christmas Wishes loan from Bethel Credit Union.
Up to 20,000 can be yours, so you can take care of all those Christmas expenses. You could even pay off all your debts and your credit card.
Come on down to where we make wishes come through, because we see you
at BCU.
Visit any of our offices today at 31 Bethlehem Road, Bethel, Tobago, or Mount Mary Lower, Scarborough, Tobago.
You can contact us at 639-8226-660-7358 or 631-1336.
Normal lending criteria apply. Think, plan, save with Bethel Credit Union. Because we see you at BCU. We see you at BCU. Come on down, get a loan or two, cause we see you this Christmas at BCU.
Ho ho! Delta Distributors Christmas special is here. Choose from our special meat packages at unbelievable prices. Perfect for your holiday feasts. Hurry, limited stocks. Order now. 11 pounds chicken, 5 pounds pork, 5 pounds turkey, 1 picnic ham, 1 liter pear drugs, only $500. Order now at deltechdistributors.com. Call or WhatsApp 359-5040 or 237-0102. Only $20 delivery or come into our main road Argyle store.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic, only at Standard.
There's a village round the corner where Christmas comes alive. Everything Christmas you could think about right in front of your eyes. Our music playing, you could hear it from a mile. Everybody's singing loud, you know it's Christmas time. Christmas Village, you could find your uncle and auntie at Christmas Village. Buying food, you know it's a plenty. Something for you and the family at Christmas Village. We have ham, cake, lamb, jam, music from the island. Choirs, pan, parang, and someone selling appliance. There will be lights, decorations, and a tree. Drama production, episode 1, 2, and 3. Christmas Village, you could find your mommy and daddy at Christmas Village. Buying toys for nephew and niece at Christmas Village. Something for you and the family at Christmas Village.
Are you thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You bring us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Denise for those of you just joining us. And this morning we have two special persons joining us this morning, representatives from the Logos, docked here in Scarborough, Tobago. We have Alejandro, Alia, Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yes, correct.
And I have Navia.
Navia.
Navia. I cannot pronounce your last name. I don't want to.
Ankadasu, that's okay.
Okay. All right. So guys, welcome to Tobago. Welcome to Tobago Updates television show. You guys are so young and vibrant. What do you guys do on the logos? Just tell us about yourselves before we get right into our interview. Beginning with the ladies first.
Thank you so much, Dwayne. Thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here in this beautiful island and on the show as well. So I'm Navya. I come from India and I'm 23 years old and I've been on board Logos Hope for about 11 months now. I started with the ship in South Africa early this year in January. And yeah, 11 months and I think 7 countries later, here I am. Yeah. I work as the communications and marketing manager on board, and I handle a team of very young people, very creatively enthusiastic people, and it's been absolutely wonderful to be on board.
Right.
Yeah.
Quite the ordeal there, guys. Yeah. So what about you, Alejandro?
So yeah, my name is Alejandro Alia, and I'm from Albania, a small country in southeastern Europe. I've been on board of the Logos Hope for the past 16 months. So yeah, it's been a year and 3-4 months. Yeah.
A quarter.
Yes. So I joined the ship for the first time when the ship was in Mombasa, Kenya. So I sailed from the eastern side of the continent, went around up until now in Trinidad and Tobago, and on board the ship I work as the international cafe manager, which is part of the visitor experience.
That's really cool. So you guys seem to have very high portfolios on the ship. Amidst all of that and amidst the the turbulence, no pun intended, how have you guys been dealing with this being on the sea for so long? Many persons when you watch movies and so on, you always see people going over the boat and vomiting and all these kind of things. Has that been your experience, and how did you guys manage?
I must say that before I joined the ship, this is exactly what I had in mind, but it's not quite as dramatic as that. Right. I must say, I would, from personal experience, the first 4 or 5 months while we were, in the region of Africa, I was a little seasick, but it just takes a while. It depends from person to person. It just takes a while for your body to get adjusted to the movement while sailing. But then again, as a ship, we don't sail as much. We tend to limit. We are more, our time, what we spend is more on land, in the port than at sea. So, while we sailed, the only longest sailing that we've had is from Africa to the Caribbean, which was for 13 days. And it was smooth sailing. It was absolutely smooth sailing. We didn't even know that we were, moving much. Yeah. So, and we had a lot of things to do. We had events on board and we just enjoyed ourselves.
Cool.
So it's not that dramatic at all. Yeah.
Right. What about you?
I think the first sailing is what hits the most. So I had a short sailing from Kenya to Tanzania for the first night, only 24 hours, and my head was like bumping, like my head was hurting. It was not that good.
You didn't drink enough water, man.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. So like I was an inexperienced sailor, I would say.
Yeah.
So, but after that, everything was smooth. I sailed long sailings for like 8 to 9 days from Madagascar to Mozambique, and now for 2 weeks from Sierra Leone up until Barbados. So it was really nice. I mean, movies are far from reality.
Yeah.
Our ship moves, but it's not that bad. Yeah. I mean, it's a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Nice. It's like you guys on a cruise. Yeah. So what were your lives like before taking up this voluntary role? Right? Just want to begin with you, Alejandro.
Yeah, so for me, I finished my high school and then I got straight into working. I worked for about 18 months before I joined the ship in rate managing in, what do you call it? the English word is not coming out. In a logistics company, yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And you?
And for me, I graduated, I think, early last year from my master's degree in advertising and public relations. And then I went on to work as an intern, and that converted into a full-time job as a public relations professional for a media agency back in India. Yeah, before I joined.
You guys are quite accomplished for your age. What does it feel like, to be at this juncture? You guys left your homes. You guys are volunteering. You guys are managing what I would say very heavy portfolios on a ship that travels the world and spread knowledge. How was that experience like for you guys?
I think it's a very unique experience because not everyone gets this opportunity. Where else can you get to do what you do as a professional, to add to your career, but at the same time you get to travel around the world. You get to live with people from 65 plus different cultures. I mean, where else would you get this experience? And you get to sail, and get to know new people, get to try new cultures and new food. I think this is a very unique experience. It comes with its own challenges, but at the same time it's beautiful in its very own way. And I think for the short duration that he was on board and I am on board, and the other crew members as well, I think we make the most of it and we enjoy it. And yeah, we just love being on board. We are away from our own families, but we create our own circle of families and friends on board, so it's beautiful.
And quite wise, you really in the communications department, man. What about you?
Yeah, I would say everything that Navya said, but I think it's more than just doing something for yourself. I mean, of course, you get the perk of traveling, of living with 65 different nationalities on board, and of meeting like so many new cultures. Have been across 11 countries into many cultures, and I really appreciate that. It's really beautiful, but it's also, as I said, we are volunteers, so we don't get paid for what we do, and it's more about doing something for someone else rather than for my own benefit. So if like putting others first, so like going into our communities and trying to make someone else's day better, I think that's what's the core.
That's amazing, and that's quite noble of you guys to do that. Volunteerism isn't dead, guys, and I want to encourage all young people who are listening, it's okay to volunteer. It's okay to not be paid for a more noble cause. And while we're on that note, guys, tell the viewers, because I have experienced logos growing up, and we came to the country, to the island about 3 times while I was growing up. Tell us what the logos has to offer for all ages.
So I would say that we're here for a very short while, but we're moving to Port of Spain at the 26th of December. But while we're in Scarborough, we have the book fair, which is the world's largest floating book fair, and we have literature available for people of all ages, from kids to adults to young adults to even those older. We have books across different ranges, languages, lifestyle, business, marketing, whatever you can think of. So there's something for everyone. But at the same time, we also have events for everyone, for all age groups. We have events for young kids, we have events for teenagers, for women, for families. And we also have cultural events. We had an event just the other weekend where we did a complete cultural showcase of our crew members. So they got to perform their own cultures, they got to talk about it and share, and people got to ask them questions as well. So it was a very beautiful cultural exchange where people could learn. But yeah, there's also crew members from 65 different nationalities. They can come, get to talk to us, get to just learn from us, and we can also do the same from them as well. So there's always something for everyone.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And what about you? What is your favorite book or experience on the living on the logos for the last 16 months? But that's quite a long time, guys.
Yeah. There are a lot of good books in our bookshop. I think I've only looked at dictionaries, so I have, like, my favorite books are dictionaries.
Right.
So I have a passion for languages that I'm currently learning, or at least trying to learn. So one of them is Japanese, so we have an English to Japanese dictionary. Yeah. So that's where I get like my daily words into getting to know the language better. So I would say dictionaries. It's really probably the most boring book out there, but yeah.
I mean, it's boring for those who might not have the interest in it. But for you, it's quite, you know, it's an interest, you know. And we need to move away, guys, from, you know, books being boring. Reading is fun, and you know, it widens your sense of knowledge and even your sense of the world. My question to you guys is, what next, and how do you see yourselves, you know, moving from this experience?
Personally, I think I would continue working for an organization that has a purpose for the community. I think joining this organization, Logos Hope and GBA Ships, has taught me that, you know, life is not just about me and what I can do for myself or my people, but it's also for what I can give to the community around me. So I think I would continue working or find an organization that, you know, works for the betterment of the community. And yeah, and
you sound like a politician.
No, I think it's just what I learned. Yeah, from 11 months, which is quite short, but yeah.
That's quite noble. What is next for you, Alejandro? You manage the cafeteria on the ship. Is the food tasty? You know, can I come and get some breakfast this morning, or can I come and have some lunch? What do I need to do to, you know?
She gets some ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream and brownies.
Really?
The best.
Right.
Yeah. So our cafeteria, we don't have like. We don't sell doubles or rice or meals.
Right.
But we have snacks. We have like brownies, cookies, and muffins. We have coffee. We have ice cream. We have popcorn, and small things like this where you can, after you have been to the bookshop, you can just come and relax and connect with us while enjoying a bite or a snack.
I have two more questions for you guys. What events do you guys have next while you are in Tobago? And my last question would be, how does one who is interested in volunteering and to be a part of the Logos get to that place?
Okay, I'll answer the second question first. So anyone who's interested, if you're someone who lives close to the ship, you can always come on board and talk to someone from the ship, one of the crew members. They're always willing to take down your details and help you. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot it at them right away. But if you're far away from us, feel free to go onto the website gbaships.org. That's org, gbaships.org, and you will get all the details there. You'll find someone you can contact there and just apply. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's good.
And
that's good.
if you
go ahead.
Yeah, for me to add on to that, what you said in the beginning when I was trying to apply, it can seem like something that's not doable, you know, something that would take a lot of time, but it's actually really simple. You have to go to gbaships.org and just contact them, submit your application, and then you wait. We wait for them to respond so that you can have your interview. That's what I would add.
That's really good. That's really good. So what about upcoming events while you're in Tobago before you go off to Trinidad?
I would say today we have a children's event coming up. It's happening in the morning, I think. It's happening in the morning, and it's for kids of all ages. If you're until like 16 years of age, you can come.
I consider myself a kid.
Yeah, you can come. Everyone's a kid. Yeah, a child at heart, right? You can come. You can enjoy. Yeah, so that's happening today. But we also have an event on Friday, which is for professionals. If you're in the marketplace, if you're in the business field, this is especially for you. It's for professionals. This is where we have a panel discussions, different topics specifically related to this field will be spoken about. So yeah.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. So guys, you know, this unfortunately brings us to the end of this interview this morning. We want to thank you for coming. It's quite, you know, amazing to see young people like myself, doing such great things in the world. And you guys bring such a package of experience and inspiration to our younger persons here on the island. This is quite a small island, and sometimes we don't see the world beyond where we live. And this is definitely an opportunity for young people all across the world, all across the globe, to see the world beyond our eyes. And I want to thank you for sharing this experience with us, guys. This brings us to the end of this segment. We have 2 more segments for you guys. Just remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic, only at Standard.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Be advised that the date and venue for the Tobago Day Thanksgiving service have been changed to Thursday, December 19th at the Shaw Park Complex. Start time 9 a.m. Come give thanks with us as we continue our Tobago Day celebration.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
This morning show, as you know, it is Youth Wednesdays, and we are getting ready for an epic segment. If you can tell, I am surrounded by a number of students and I'm really excited to interact with them. How are you guys feeling this morning?
Good.
All right. Now, these young people sitting within my midst would have recently participated in the Tobago Day Youth Debate, something that I would have done many moons ago. right? I know that it was definitely an experience, and I can't wait for you to share some of your most interesting moments and the things that you would have learned. But before we get into the meat of the matter, starting from this lovely young man here, I could recognize him by the Signal Hill uniform. Can you introduce your name, the class that you're in, and the school that you're representing?
My name is Alan Cipriani. I attend Signal Hill Secondary School, which is evident by my uniform. In 6B2, so I'm in 6-1.
My name is Anthurium Lewis, student of Bishop's High School, Tobago, and I'm in 5A1.
My name is Maya Bartholomew, student of Scarborough Secondary School, and I'm in 4C.
My name is Alyssa Leacock. I attend the Harmon School of SDA, and I am in 4A1.
My name is Kinaya Benjamin, representing Speyside High School, and I'm in 5A2.
All right, so I love that we have a number of young people within our midst in different classes within the secondary school system. I think that that's pretty interesting, the fact that you all have the opportunity to engage in one of the most important aspects of Tobago, which would be participating within the Assembly legislature. So I know that you all would have had an extensive training process for the Tobago Day debate, learning about the motions, the art of debating, and different rules and so on. So again, starting from you, sir, tell us a little bit about what that process was like for you.
Well, I was the presiding officer for this year's Tobago Day Youth Debate, and during that process, I had to manage. Learning how to multitask was very essential to the role. So managing the mics, managing speakers, and making sure and record time, as well as learning about the different discussions. It was essential. So that was mainly my role.
Mm-hmm. So I was on the minority side. So it was different to view the motion from a different point of view. Because personally, I do believe that we have policies in place. But we have to look at the perspective of, yes, we have policies, but are they really working for us? So I had to learn more about the procedures that go on in the chamber, as well as compile all the necessary information so that I could have a proper speech and do justice to the topic, because it is an important topic. So yeah, all of that had to go into process.
Yeah, right. For me, I wrote my speech. That was one of the first things I had to try and do. I got a lot of help from my fellow debate members, as well as my debate facilitator at school, and as well as the subject expert, Mr. Bobby Andrews. And I really tried to learn my speech. I practiced with a box and a mic as a broom. And so, as well as learning about all the rules and how we have to do stuff, the procedures. So it was really a fun experience, and was a lot of hard work we put into it.
For me and my dad did a lot of research, and I would also like to thank Mr. Ajay Allen, because I'm a person that likes to commit statistics and facts. So my whole presentation, even my rebuttal, was based on facts. So I was like, coming together with all the information, you have to do a lot of deep diving to get all the information that is needed to bring the motion and lay it out right there.
In my case, it was a bit challenging, seeing as focusing on housing as a topic for the debate was a bit of a challenge for me, because I've never actually studied as a youth growing up. Because, as a child, you're thinking that when I get older, I'll just go out and buy a house and that kind of stuff. So it was a bit challenging for me. And when thinking about the motion and the different policies that was in place, even though I had help, my main problem was the presentation that I gave. But in the end, it came out good.
All right. So based on the responses that you all gave, I could tell that you all really and truly did learn a lot. The art of research and coming up with the correct statistics and information, the art of communication, the little technical work, So I really appreciate the fact that you all have the opportunity to engage in these skills, because even though you all are quote unquote finished with the debate, you all could take these skills and apply it to everyday life. So let us talk about the motion a little bit. Starting with you, can you share with me some of the points that you brought up in your presentation?
Well, as the presiding officer, I wasn't really mainly in charge of the debate, just managing the debate. But the motion was low income housing in Tobago. So it had a majority and minority side, basically the majority side was against the motion because they already had policies in place, while the minority side was for the motion because that was their policy, that's what they were trying to implement.
So I would say I did a lot of deep diving into the actual research, because what I took it as is that I understood that we in Tobago, we have this third world country mindset. So I said, what can we do, right? And I started looking at countries like the United States of America, places like Australia, and see what they have in place. So I matched their methods to see what would be suitable for us, and I came up with 4 policies, right? So these 4 policies I brought up in the House. I did not get to elaborate much on them due to the number of interruptions on timeline. However, I will list them now. So I would say one of them was appropriate land management and zoning policy. So, you know, protecting certain areas that are important to Tobago's tourism products and food production capabilities. Another topic was community land trusts. So acquiring land and holding it in a trust for the benefit of the community. Another one I had was financial literacy and wealth creation. So personally, targeting persons in primary school, or the younger, the youth, so that when they grow older and they are of the age to invest in a home, they have the knowledge, they have the resources that they are confident that they can now go and, you know, do their purchase and not have to solely rely on grants sold in hand, as well as having a Tobago-centric contractors registry, so that these contractors are available to the public, and you can see their work based on their merits, and so that the contractors are able to guarantee their work. So all of these policies combined, it's a complex discussion we're having, but we need to talk about it, right? So all of these policies combined, if implemented, they can help to develop Tobago. So these are the points I touched on, and I really hope that the persons and the powers at be would have listened and taken notes. So yes.
You really and truly have some good strategies in place, I must say. And as you rightfully said, hopefully the authorities would have looked on and, you know, heard what you said and would basically implement policies along those lines. How about you?
Okay, right. So the way I approached the motion was that I was fully for the motion, but the caveat was I disagreed that we did not have policies in place. So the way I approached my speech was I said, we have the home ownership made equal project, we have the low income housing project, we have the public officer subsidized housing project, we have policies. However, we also plan to do this, we also plan to expand rural villages. And the way I approached it was I said that doing so will create economic growth, that we plan to put micro malls in these places, we plan to put, we plan to give entrepreneurs opportunities to occupy those micro malls, and then also said that we were going to do build recreational facilities as well, but I didn't get to touch on everything due to time. But that was what I was going to say, and then I said that in doing these expansions that we will protect Tobago's indigenous flora and fauna. We'll try our best and we will comply with all regulations, and that was how I approached it. So I was for the motion, however, we have policies and we are going to do this. That was my approach.
I actually appreciate that approach. That was very strategic. How about you, Alyssa? Why would I skip you?
Because I don't have a response on this. Yeah. I feel like low cost, the motion was to implement a policy for low cost homes on the island of Tobago. Housing is a right. And like my colleague would have stated, Tobago is a small island and we need to utilize the air space instead of land space, because like I said, it's a small island. So I think with, like my colleague implemented, they should use more air space instead of land space.
And by air space, what do you mean?
Build up and not across.
All right, so I understand. So more like high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
And so on. All right.
In terms of my speech, usually time I didn't get to
properly elaborate or finish, but the approach that I took was, yes, I do support the motion, but there are already policies in place that do the same thing. And in terms of the time it takes to implement a new policy, people who are already there and waiting to restart the registration process for those people, it would take forever to get them to be able to gain a housing. And by then, the salary, because the salary of Tobagoans is rather low, the salary would not be able to meet the standards, and by then they might have families and different circumstances. So instead of using new policies or implementing new policies, use the ones that are already there and reinforce them better.
All right, so you all had some interesting angles within your speech, and I really appreciate the fact that you all did your research regardless of whatever side of the argument you all were on. You know, sometimes it's really difficult to argue against. That is my honest opinion. I think that is the hardest point of view to argue from, but you know, I really appreciate what you all have done, and I want to issue some congratulations, because I know that probably was not easy. And can you share with me what was some of the challenges that you all faced in preparing for the debate?
I wouldn't say, well, honestly, the challenge I would face is more like speaking out loud. I'm normally a really soft-spoken person, so learning how to project my voice and allowing everybody to hear me was a bit of a challenge, but I honestly overcame it thanks to the coordinators and the help of my debaters, so yeah.
I would say my biggest issue was the timeline. Yes, it was a wonderful motion and all of the sorts, but the amount of time we had to prepare the speech. So I think my colleagues and we did an amazing job given all of those factors. So yeah, that was the main thing.
For me, time, as my colleague said, was a big issue for me. I went through like 4 versions of my speech before nailing it down. And when I actually nailed it down, it was on the week of. So I had to try to learn that. And then also when I came to present the day, my speech was already long, even though I tried to cut it down the night before. And so when I came there, I did not get to say all that I want to say. I had to skip some parts. I hope it didn't come true. But I had to skip some parts, I had to flip pages. And so that was kind of one of the big issues for me.
For me, as the minority leader, I was bringing the motion and I was also giving the rebuttal. So for me, the hardest part was statistics and anxiety. My anxiety was through the roof the night before, even on the day. But like my father told me, you just have to apply yourself. So all the anxiety that you are feeling, apply it to all the aggression and put it into your speech and present well.
In my case, it would have been I wasn't able to attend as many in-person preparation sessions as I wanted to due to exams and my personal classes outside. So that would have been one of the problems. But on the day, I was shaking a lot. Like at first I was normal, but when it came time to give my speech, I was very anxious and my hands were actually shaking a lot. So that would have been one of the problems, my anxiety and the lack of being in proper preparation sessions.
You know, one thing about public speaking or doing a debate is the fact that you will always be nervous regardless of what situation it is. So for example, me, before I came here, I was nervous even though I have done this multiple times. But that also comes along with the experience, and I think that this was a great opportunity for the young people of Tobago, because now you all have experience within how debate works and how the assembly legislature works, something that most people may long for, or some people may never understand, you know. So I'm urging you guys to take the experiences that you have learned and put it into practice. And this is the training grounds for you all to become future youth leaders, you know. So I look forward to seeing what the future holds for you all. So thank you, viewers, for joining us with this segment. Don't go anywhere, and don't forget to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Ho ho! Deltec Distributors Christmas special is here. Choose from our special meat packages at unbelievable prices. Ho ho! Perfect for your holiday feasts. Hurry! Limited stocks. Order now. 11 pounds chicken, 5 pounds pork, 5 pounds turkey, 1 picnic ham, 1 liter pear jacks, only $500. Ho ho! Order now at DeltecDistributors.com. Call or WhatsApp 359-5040 or 237-0102. Only $20 delivery or come into our main road Argyle store.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We are back again for a second segment where we will be discussing with another batch of Tobago youth debaters concerning the recent Tobago youth debate. Are y'all excited? How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling good.
All right, and so just for the viewers, can you start by introducing yourself? I'll start with you.
Hi, I am Davisha Melville and I am representing Hammond School of SDA.
Hi, I'm Abigail Thompson and I'm representing Pentecostal Light and Life.
Hi, my name is Kristen Francis and I represent Roxbury Secondary.
Hi, my name is Anna Marcella Codrington and I attend Goodwood Secondary School.
Hello everyone, my name is Kisan Abdul-Wadur and I attend Bishop's High School.
All right, so I must say congratulations. You all did an excellent job at the Tobago Youth Debate. So as I said earlier, I would have participated in the Tobago Youth Debates. I know that you all had an extensive training process. So just touch a little bit about that and tell me what it was like for you. I'll start with you.
I am one of the students who did not miss any of the training process and it was quite informative. There was times like once I fell asleep in class, but there was times it was very informative, very impactful, and it generally developed a interest for politics and debating for me.
But I had an opposite experience. I was actually a late-minute candidate, so I've only known about this for 2 days before the actual debate day. So I had small amount of time to actually prepare being a first debater, but it was a good experience for the first time.
Well, as my fellow colleagues say, I started a bit later than everyone, I would say, but it was mostly, the coach, how they coach us. It was more informative and it helped me along the way.
I barely attended any of the training. But on the actual day, the thing with them, the 2 days before, they will make sure that everything down packed because they want everything to run smoothly. As my colleague said, it was very, very informative. I did not know this was going on in Tobago, to be very honest, until they informed me about it. I learned different things. I learned what squatting is. I learned what is low-cost housing. I learned where we have low-cost housing. Other than that, on the actual day, that was the best day for me. I got to execute my presentation well. I got the role of the Chief Secretary, which I was very excited about. But it was a very informative yet educational experience for me.
As my colleague said before me, it was very informative. For me, it was a bit of in and out because I had a lot of classes and I had to prioritize on whether I should go debate meetings or classes. And sometimes I missed a lot of meetings, but based on what I have gathered before, it was very informative and I got to learn a little bit more about Tobago because before this debate, I didn't really think of Tobago as a poverty island, really. And this debate opened up my point of view and I was be able to realize that, you know, that there are many voices that are being unheard. Many people are suffering and many people are experiencing this housing crisis. So it was a very good experience. I got to make friendship with my colleagues and the people who taught us were very informative and helpful. Thank you.
Proper speech. I love that they trained you very well, I could tell. But I must say, one of the things that the youth debate allows you all to learn is time management.
Yes.
Because I could recall one of the experiences was to write a speech under a minute. Right, and you have to deliver that speech in under a minute and so on. So that was part of the training experience for me, you know. And given the fact that some of you had some short notices and that you all were still able to come out and execute, tells me that you all did a pretty good job, you know, because many people would have given up and said, I don't want to do it anymore, the time too short and so on. So starting with you again, just tell me, what was your favorite experience?
My favorite experience was on the actual debate day when we were obviously, I wouldn't say arguing, but debating against each other. Everybody was bringing out their points so well, and I was a little bit nervous to go up and like rebuttal against anybody. But as soon as I turned on the mic to rebuttal, all the nervousness just went away and I had the confidence and I just executed it well. And I was really happy that I wasn't scared as most of my other colleagues were.
Hi. Well, I could say the same as she stated. It was very nerve-wracking the first time. You have to be recording and everything, especially at a late-minute announcement for me. So when I got there, I was shaking. I was like, oh my God, I had to do this, stand up in front of all these people behind me and in front of me and speak. But when it was time to speak, I tried to calm down and just do what I had to do. And in the moment, it's a very nice experience.
Well, I would have to say my favorite part would have to be the debate itself, the day and how it was in action, and the whole conversation, the whole conversation that was spoken about Tobago and the housing system, the housing crisis. It was fun. Everything was fun.
To be honest, on a serious note, my favorite days were the training days when we were in person because you get to express yourself, you were able to communicate, you know, build new ideas, you were able to develop your speech better so that on the actual day you would know what you're doing. It also created a sense of comfort and connection with others. We were able to express how we felt and it felt comforting to me. It felt as though I had a voice in the training days, not just on the debate day.
So, for me, I think it was when the rebuttals. On the debate day, it was very exciting because no side seemed to back down. The majority had its points, the minority had its points, and no one refused to back down. Everyone was like standing order after standing order after standing order. And for everyone, for me especially, I had to just stick on what I had, the points that I had, and be confident. And although they were sending rebuttals after rebuttals, you know, I just loved how my team, the minority obviously, kept their composure and was just rattling out standing order and clarification and clarifying what the majority had to say, and it was a very good experience. I mean,
you know, I watched the debate and I was like, wait, how many standing orders would we have in one debate? You know, because as you rightfully said, you all weren't backing down, but that tells me that you all came prepared, you all were ready, and you all executed it to the best of your ability. Just so that the viewers could get an idea of what you all discussed, just share with me some of the main points that, you know, you talked about within your debate.
Well, for my presentation, I talked mostly about property tax and mortgages and how citizens' daily salary was too low to afford all these stuff. So bills, groceries, mortgage, property tax, it would be quite literally impossible for our citizens to earn and pay for these things. And that was my main point and argument, because as someone who comes from a household that is a little poor, not necessarily poor, but you could understand what it's like to ask for something and your parents cannot give it to you because they do not have enough. So I understood that part.
Okay, my points were basically proving that we already had what's the word? Sorry. We already had things in place to help with low-cost housing in Tobago, such as there's a new company called Chef Pro who has came in with container houses that can be stuck together to create new housing for Tobago. And it also branches out in a lot of different ways, providing food in Trinidad, Tobago, and different places. So there's many policies already in place helping with low-cost housing, and yes, many have not heard of them yet, but in time, everyone will know about it soon enough so that they can help themselves and the government can help them as well. Because a point I wanted to say in the debate is that if the government did not want to help their citizens, they could have shut this down a long time ago.
That is a very interesting point. I love it.
Well, my main point was basically about the health care, because under the housing crisis, it lies under health. Because because your health is basically an important part, it plays an important part with your housing crisis, because if you live in under a roof which has no type of, if you're sick, you have to get this type of medication to feel better, and if you don't, you will have to always be running to the hospital, which isn't a good important for you, because, you know, as my colleague said, you might have not the economic funds where you have, and you always have to be costly, and the medication will have to be costly, and you just have to, you know, yeah.
So for me, I touched on what low-cost housing was. I touched on how it enhanced in different sectors. I also touched on how it helped families. I touched a bit of how it helped educational-wise. And I was trying to bring my point that the government is already doing. Yes, you all are saying we are not doing enough, but we are trying our best. We are not good. We can't get everything all at once at the same time. There are upcoming programs coming. Okay, thank you.
So in my argument, I talked about land regularization and simplifying the home ownership process. And in my argument, I completely stressed on the fact that although the government has said they have implemented policies and stuff, some of the problems like poverty and stuff it's still big issues, and people still have problems with housing. So that just it magnifies the fact that people still have problems, so there must be more done, right? So I focused on the circumstances of Tobagonians and the things that they had to face, which pushed them into squatting. I also talked about squatting, and yeah, that was a blast. It was a blast. Yeah.
And I could tell why y'all had so many rebuttals, because I heard multiple sides of the argument. Yeah. I heard different points. I saw different perspectives. And based on the little looks I'm getting, it seems like y'all want to do another round on television.
And I was not backing down. I'm a very argumentative person.
Good tell. You all would have been spending some time within the Assembly legislature. Just share with me who was your role model throughout the entire process. Oh, this one's had a smile. Just share with me who was your role model throughout the entire process and why.
I had like two. Miss Cooper was very helpful for me. Anytime I needed help, she would have immediately responded and I would have gotten my help. But another huge help, even bigger help, my bigger role model is Mr. Ajay Allen. He was so informative, so real down to earth with you on the topic. And he would just say it plain and flat and tell me to do stuff. And then be like, you could retract your statement afterwards and thing. So he was very funny, understanding and down to earth with the problem. And he was telling us to be compassionate about it. And that is what I think kept my motion well intact.
Well, I don't have one since, I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names, but I'll say everyone who was there, I would say everyone was there to help. Each of the adults there helped us individually, helped us if you needed help. They are there at your very second to inform you, to help you, to give you points. So I'll say everyone there was very helpful.
Okay. My role model would have to be, as my colleague said, Mr. Aji and Mr. Bobby. Yes, it will be them today because they have, they have aligned us to basically, even if it's my first debate, they have aligned us to make the experience better and to make it as if we are here a long time, as if we are in the legislative building for a long time. They have shaped us into the person that we can become in the future.
Unfortunately, I have three. The first one goes to Mr. Bobby Andrews. He helped me with my speech at the very last minute and had no problem with it. On the actual day, I was kind of getting nervous, and he would send me messages saying, you got this, you're going to blaze the place, don't think on it too hard. Miss Cooper, because she was always there to assist at any second, she's like a mother, you know, always willing to help at any time. And I had made this little office friend. Her name is Miss Leanne. She was very nice. She allowed me to be myself. On the first day, she was like, I like you. And I was like, oh, I was enjoying myself. Yeah, thanks.
For me, is Mr. Andrews, Mr. Bobby Andrews. He was very informative and he showed us statistics about Tobago, how the growth rate was way higher than Trinidad, although we had a smaller population. And another person for me was Mr. Ajay, for sure. He had all the tactics, and he gave us all the information. Guys, you have this. He was very encouraging and he gave us the energy, and it was a good balance because Mr. Bobby Andrews had the statistics, he had the information, and Mr. Ajay had the tactics, he had all the things that the techniques in debating, and it was really fun. It was really fun.
So big up the whole Assembly legislature team, you know, without them, you all would not have been able to execute as well as you did. Congratulations again. You all really made my day. You all really made my day with that debate because I made the arguments back and forth. You know, I could have seen the little tension, but it was all good. And this will, as I said to the other crew, this will help you to become future leaders. And I'm also going to say to you all as well, take the skills that you all would have learned and implement it into your lives and so on, because it will help you. All right, so I would like to thank you viewers for joining us. Don't forget to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
over and over again. It's very nice to be in that chilly musical kind of season that is the Christmas season. And thank you so much, viewers, for being with us here this morning on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. It's always a pleasure. And as you go forward, doing it over, right? Thank you, viewers, for staying with us here on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. It's the Christmas season. It's 7 days until Christmas. And yes, we have to work, you know, and we have to mix it in with the decorations and the getting ready, putting up the curtains, baking the cake. But all is well because we're all doing it in that spirit of Christmas. So as we go through the day, I wish you a day of success. I wish you a day of safety, especially in this Christmas season. And as you go forward, continue to share the live, share the live, share the live. Please stay tuned for Good Morning Tobago with Miss Chanel Felix. Enjoy your day.
Tobago. This is our second episode of Autofocus. And this morning I want us to explore some background to the modern Tobago House of Assembly. You may have heard that we are approaching the 250th year of the Parliament being in Tobago. That's the institution called the Tobago House of Assembly, because that existed long before we became an independent nation. However, the modern Tobago House of Assembly came as a result of a motion moved in 1977 by former President, Prime Minister and Chairman of the THA, A.N.R. Robinson. Owing to that motion, the THA Act of 1980 instituted the modern Tobago House of Assembly, and Mr. Robinson went on to leading the very first installation of the modern Tobago House of Assembly some 44 years ago. That act came with significant limitations, particularly with regards to the structure of the Tobago House of Assembly. You may not know that with that first installation between 1980 and 1996, A.N.R. Robinson started as a president the habit of calling leaders in the various divisions secretaries, but there were actually no regulation or law that allowed for that until 1996. That is to tell you how limited the structure of the THA was a little better than perhaps a county council, and some will argue it wasn't much better than a county council. As a result, in 1996, the same A.N.R. Robinson, after forming a coalition with the then UNC led by Basdio Pandey, in the 1772 arrangement, he decided that he would bring before the House Act 40 of 1996, and that's the Parliament. And that is the act upon which the current installation of the Tobago House of Assembly operates. Between 1980 and 1996, we had a chairman leading the Tobago House of Assembly, and as of 1996, we have a chief secretary that leads the Tobago House of Assembly. And that's why we made the distinction that A.N.R. Robinson was the first chairman of the THA and Mr. Tsoi-a-Fatt Charles was the first chief secretary of the THA. Now, why do we want more? Isn't the Act 40 of 1996 sufficient? And the answer is no. It's not sufficient because it still did not realize the dream as mooted before the Parliament in 1977. It still does not accord unto the people of Tobago the constitutional authority to actually manage and govern ourselves. It does not give us the right to pass laws governing things that are important to the people of Tobago and that will actually have command over the space that is Tobago. And so this is about ensuring that Tobagonians can truly self-actualize, politically that is, in this space called Tobago. It is about ensuring that the government you vote for can actually pass meaningful laws that will improve your life and your livelihoods here in Tobago. And let me give you some quick examples. In November of 2021, the Tobago House of Assembly unanimously agreed that we should send a bill down to Parliament that will accord unto the Tobago House of Assembly the authority to create and implement policies to govern marine parks in the Tobago space. Guess what? We are in 2024 and that bill has never made its way onto the parliamentary floor, which simply means that the parliament just does not care about the things that are priority for Tobago. But that is a priority matter for Tobagonians because we are about sustainable tourism. We are about protecting our blue assets in the marine space. But we can't do that because we just don't have the authority to do so. And there are so many other areas of our lives that just simply require someone from Trinidad, from the central government, to authorize it or to allow it to happen. And sometimes that slows the progress here on island. A more current example is what's happening at the Registrar General's office. Once upon a time, we used to be able to get a birth paper in a matter of some minutes, the death certificate in a matter of some minutes. If there was an error on the certificate, it could be corrected here in Tobago. However, some colonial-minded public servants in Trinidad felt that, look, that was too much power to give to Tobago. So you know what happens now? If there's an error on your death certificate, you have to literally apply here in Tobago and wait about 6 weeks to get it corrected, or take a flight, go to Trinidad and get it the same day in Trinidad. This kind of disparity in services being available to the people of Tobago versus the people in Trinidad adds to the reason why we need to now update and upgrade Act 40 of 1996. Because we are separated by geography. We have distinct cultures. We have distinct ambitions, different cultures. And of course, the distance between us means that if we have to have one country where there is equality between the two islands and the people living on both islands must enjoy equally the same levels of service, it means that we have to have the authority here in Tobago to deliver those services to the people of Tobago in a timely fashion. And that's why when the consultations were done, the extensive consultations by former Chief Secretary Orville London, one of the matters that came up was a matter of a distinct public service in Tobago to treat with public service matters. So all our public officers who are waiting on appointments, who are waiting on approval for sick leave, like our teachers, waiting on appointment for sick leave, sometimes for donkey years, just waiting on someone in Trinidad to just sign off on it. That cannot be how we run a country, where if you live on the larger island, you can get the same service in a matter of some days. But if you live in Tobago, you wait forever to get that service. And some people think that that's okay. That is not okay. And so this call for greater autonomy is really about putting in the hands of Tobagonians this opportunity to take charge and to manage our destiny, to ensure that we have access to services and quality care from our government here on island in a timely fashion. We're not interested in disrupting what happens in Trinidad and the government flow in Trinidad or governance flow in Trinidad. It's about providing quality access to the people of Tobago in a timely manner. And there you have it, the trajectory from 1980 to then 1996 and where we are at present. This was another episode of Autofocus. The next time you will hear from me is on Friday morning when we look at autocorrect and we look to correct some misinformation in the space. But for now, at least you understand the progression of the Tobago House of Assembly and where we are and where we need to go. Please have a productive week ahead. God bless you.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Christmas sales in Tobago are reportedly down despite an influx of visitors. According to Curtis Williams, chairman of the Tobago Division of Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Williams attributed the decline to 2024's challenging economic trends, but remains optimistic for a turnaround. The chamber is focusing on uniting the business community, supporting economic initiatives, and assisting new and struggling businesses. Additionally, the public is invited to share condolences with the family of the Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris-Julian, who tragically passed away in a fire on Monday, 16 December 2024. A condolence book is available for signing at the Rotunda of the Red House starting today from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and will remain open daily until further notice. Members of Parliament and other dignitaries are also encouraged to sign. And finally, the Tobago House of Assembly has extended the Robinson Day island-wide cleanup campaign to continue throughout the week in all communities. Residents are urged to place unwanted items at the curbside for collection and can contact the Public Health District coordinators for assistance. In the Windward area, one can contact 751-6630. In Central, the number is 733-6861. On the north side, you can use the contact number 750-7618, while in the Leeward area, one can use the contact 475-1605. And according to the THA, this initiative seeks to promote environmental sustainability and community involvement. So we all have a role to play. That was on news in 90 seconds. This morning, it's a bit overcast here in Scarborough, but as we kickstart the morning, we want to start off by reminding our viewers that from tonight, the Christmas Village kicks off at the Scarborough Esplanade. So you can come down to Scarborough this evening and enjoy all that's happening at the Scarborough Esplanade with your entire family. This morning, I have the privilege of having a quite engaging conversation with Dr. Denise Tsoi-a-Fatt Angus, who is the political leader of the IDA. Good morning, Dr. Angus, and welcome.
Good morning, Chanel, and good morning to all of your viewing and listening audience out there.
Right. I mean, there is so much to talk about. So much has been happening, and it's been a while since we've been able to really sit down and chat. But before we even get into anything, we want to be sure to send special condolences out to the family of the Minister in the Ministry of Education, MP Lisa Morris Julian, and her entire family.
Yes. Certainly, condolences must be extended. And, you know, when you look at who she was, excuse me, she was the epitome of service. Service to the people, service to family. And, you know, that's the way she died. You know, I understood that she went back in to save her children. And if nothing else, to be with them. And, you know, it just speaks to who she was. And so she's left an indelible mark on the Trinidad and Tobago, yes, because there are many people here who would have interacted with her. And she will be missed. May her soul rest in peace. And I'm also wondering why a book, condolences book, has not been laid at the Assembly Legislature in Tobago so that people who are here who would like to extend condolences can go and do that there and not have to make the trip to Trinidad.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that contribution. Now, a lot has been happening where senior citizens are concerned and senior citizens pension. A lot of persons may not know that there are new proposals for the senior citizens bills, for the senior citizen bill. Can you tell us about that? What is being proposed for those who do not know, and why it is important to pay attention to this?
Okay, so before we go there, I know that we had some interviews with the former youth debaters. And let me say, as a former presiding officer and as a leader on this island, my heart is full. I feel assured that we are going to be having Tobago in good hands in the future. And I congratulate them for their stellar work on that debate in the House last week. And it will be interesting to hear what they would say about this senior citizens issue. The biggest part that is being discussed in the public domain concerning the senior citizens legislature that they intend to take to Parliament is the fact that they would like to ensure that if you are a senior citizen and you have $25,000 in the bank, you have nothing to get from this government. No matter how hard you worked in the past to contribute to the development of this country, they are saying to you, we don't value you. Your work didn't matter. And so we're not, if you have $25,000 in the bank, you know.
Yeah, but when we look at the grand scheme of things and the cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago, $25,000 can barely make a dent in a year.
Exactly.
So,
and what you see, the challenge is this government is not being honest with the people. The economy is crashing. And they are bankrupt of ideas as to how to keep it going. And they're waiting on the 2027 oil deal to come through, which we don't know where that is now with the change in government in the US. And so what they're doing is really laying it on the people. So you're seeing the taxes coming back, the property tax, and now this, where $25,000, you get nothing. And it really is not fair. It is not appropriate, and it will be their downfall, because whilst you're saying on one hand, if you have $25,000, we are not giving you anything. On the other hand, you're saying, well, I work hard for the money as a as a prime minister and a parliamentarian, so give us our increases, and everybody else can go where.
Exactly. I mean, when we look at the economy and where Trinidad and Tobago is going, and a lot of persons came out and said in response to that SRC report on the increase for public officials that now is not the time for something like that. So how can on one end you're saying, okay, public officials deserve this increase now, and then on the other hand you're saying that senior citizens, because they have had a life savings, cannot benefit from their pension scheme, but then you're trying to secure the pension of politicians.
Yeah.
Where do we find the middle ground?
And that's a good question. The middle ground is found in a compassionate government. A compassionate government who cares about their people. And what we are experiencing now is a government that does not care. They demonstrate that over and over. They don't care. They've been there for 10 years. And they're like, well, we taking what we taking right now, and is all it to catch when we gone. And that is the feeling that you're getting coming out of them, because when you look at all of the areas where our people are being taxed in terms of, not having access to things, bringing back property tax, all of these areas, it will land differently if people saw that while you're doing all these things, you, the leaders who are making those decisions for us, are also making a sacrifice. And I think nobody's saying that maybe the salaries are low in the country. Nobody's saying that they should not be increased. But the challenge is you can't be increasing it at the expense of taxing and frustrating the rest of the people to pay for your increases.
Right. And for persons who are not yet very close to retirement age, when we look at what is happening, is it wise for them to start seeking out alternative pension mechanisms, whether it be through insurance companies and private pension schemes in the credit unions? Because we're seeing a situation where you cannot hinge your last days on what this government decides to do or not to do.
Absolutely. I mean, if your back is against the wall, you have to see and you have to look down the road. How do you protect yourself and your family to ensure that down the road, when you no longer have a job, that you all can still see yourselves as making it? And yes, all those are ways that people can explore in terms of securing their future. And this is where, I like what you said, the credit unions have a big part to play, especially in the Tobago space where you are, embedded in communities. The credit unions have a big part to play.
Right. And you have a lot of persons, when they look at investments, you don't always hear persons talking about creating a retirement plan here in Tobago, particularly. Maybe in the US or in some of the first world countries, you hear persons prioritizing a retirement plan. But when it comes to setting apart a retirement plan and not knowing exactly what the future of Trinidad and Tobago's economy is, and as you indicated, hinging it on what might or could happen, puts a lot of persons at risk. So does the government also have a duty, if it's now saying, okay, because we may be facing somewhat of an economic crisis in the future, let us educate the public on alternative ways of preparing for the future?
But like I said, if you have a compassionate and caring government, you will first of all share with the people, you know, the realities that we are looking at, and you ask them to come on board and partner with you to explore the alternatives. Yes, I would expect that, you know, they would perhaps call the people together, see all of the areas that they can explore, that they can send their people to explore, and ask them to, you know, and share that information with them.
Right. But we know that from time to time when the government makes major financial decisions for the country, it's not always under their own volition, but sometimes it's based on the advice of the international agencies that we have borrowed from in order for us to maintain a particular global standing. So could it be that this has been a part of a recommendation to us in order for us to maintain international funding?
Was it also a recommendation to accept the SRC report?
That's a good question that you raised there. But it also speaks to a level of elitism that persons are struggling with when we look at Trinidad and Tobago, and how the rich continues to get richer while the poor is getting poorer, and that gap between the rich and poor begins to widen more and more. And you're seeing a situation where leaders are prioritizing their own pockets as opposed to prioritizing the overall development of a country. And this is a quite peculiar thing, because we have an election coming up very soon. And you would think that the leaders that are there now, who strive to be re-elected, would make decisions for the whole as opposed to making decisions for themselves. But then there's the other side of the coin, where you hear persons arguing that if they know that they might not be going back there, they are securing themselves for their future. How do you feel about it when you look at that situation?
We have challenges. The challenge is not just in Trinidad, it's also in Tobago. And it is what politicians feel the culture of politics should be. You do whatever you want. We're talking about Trinidad and also in Tobago. Do whatever you want for the 3, 4, 5 years. And then when you come to elections, we just go and flood the market with money, and we know you will put us back there. Okay? That is the culture of elections and politicians in the country and in Tobago. We feel that you could do, like I said, do whatever you want for while you're there, and then in the last year, 6 months, you flood the market with money and with things, goodies, and then you expect people to put you back there. That formula can no longer work. It is a dangerous formula, because Trinidad and Tobago no longer has the resources that we had in the past to be able to use money like that, wantonly wasting it.
Right.
And so what you will find is that they will do that, and the people will end up in a bigger crisis, where you have more grants like these being taken away from you, more opportunities being taken away from you, and you're being pressured by tax schemes. And the people suffer in the end if you don't put a government in place to ensure that they can see about your future. But it's not just putting a government in place. We have to change the design of our governance structure. Our governance structure allows too much of a dictatorship type approach to policies, development, and even the laws that we have. And therefore, you have to change the government to accommodate bringing the people more into having a say and contributing to development of the island. And until we do that, we will continue to have governments in place who just, doing whatever they want without taking into consideration to the people. And I'm bringing, I see they flashing the health sector here. I'm bringing the health sector into this now. The health sector is getting into business that is not their own. It's not part of the health sector. And the administration is operating as if it doesn't understand economics, and it does not understand the economics of a small Tobago economy, which is very fragile at this time. The hospital, they don't have enough medications. All the medications on the formulary for your diabetes, high blood pressure, just about anything you call, you go there, nil, 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 nil. That same person who has $25,000 in the bank, who is not going to receive a pension now, has to take that money and go to a private pharmacy to purchase medications to stay alive on the $25,000. Right? Because what you were supposed to be getting free, remember, you work and pay health surcharge for years to get these medications free at this time. It is no longer in the pharmacy, in the hospital pharmacy. You now have to go and get it from outside. There are no fans, or no, the AC units are not working in our units. The conditions that your health workers and also the patients are under is very poor. You don't have the, diagnostic equipment that may not be working from time to time, and they can't get fixed. But what does the health sector do? They have monies, apparently, put down somewhere, and they have now gone out, supposedly, to purchase a villa resort to outfit, put in oncology and HIV. That really does not make any sense. That is a wastage of funds. When you consider the scarcity of funds we say we have in Tobago, no money is the song now. You don't use that money that way. The hospital system sits on 27 acres. It was designed for the expansion on site. Why did we not use a portion of that 20 million? It wasn't going to cost you 20 million to put the hospital on site, because remember that 20 million being spent does not include equipment yet. And it does not include the retrofitting of those villas to now be hospital grade to offer services. So we're talking closer to 40 million for that to be established. It would not have taken that to put the oncology unit on site. Yes? Create a purpose-built facility so that you involve the users. It's building from scratch. So you have a facility that can serve the population of Tobago to ensure oncology care is delivered in a seamless way.
Right. And you can also still have the entire wellness function of it, if that is what was trying to be achieved by having somewhat of a villa type environment. You could have built that into
You could have
the
built that
facility.
into the facility on the 27 acres that you have sitting down there. You know?
You could have all the wellness
You could
elements.
have and all of the wellness elements along with it. Yeah? Because the hospital, like I said, was built for the expansion. But when you're not having strategic planning in the health sector and understanding what are the issues, how do you close the gap while you expand? If you don't have that happening, then you're going to have these poor decisions being made at this time, because that 20 million has to be exported, I understand. Some US has to be gotten to contribute to that purchase. So it really doesn't augur well for us in Tobago with that. The additional resources you had from that could have been spent on making sure that your chronic disease profiles have their medications. At least patients who are over 60, 65 years old, you put your own fund in place to ensure that when patients, if they have to go to a pharmacy, you have a conversation with all of the pharmacies. This is what we're willing to pay for these
and what
bills,
about the conversation?
And therefore you pay for it for your senior citizens.
And what about the conversation surrounding health insurance for a particular age group and ensuring that if there is indeed a financial crisis within the health sector, that just like in certain countries, first world countries, if you have that insurance, you are able to access the medicine, and let's say, for instance, your insurance company would pay
who is paying for the
half
health insurance?
Well, I'm saying if there can be a stipend or a subsidy attached to persons between a particular age bracket being given health insurance, if there is pressure currently on the health system. Let's say, for instance, if a health insurance package costs $1,000 a month, a subsidy is put in place so that a person individually might only be paying $400 to $500, and that can also ease some of the burden off of the public health system.
Are we aware that we pay health surcharge?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the health surcharge that we have paid for numerous years is supposed to go to the health sector. Yes. But when you have wastage of funds, being done in the health sector, that's when you're going to be in crisis. If those funds are managed well and decisions are made appropriately, okay, the health sector should now be looking at how can we get into medical tourism. If you're doing something to get into medical tourism that then brings back resources into the health sector, then you will not be in a crisis. We have to start looking beyond just what we are given. And we have to start saying, how do we in the health sector invest this money so that we get returns on our investment? Okay? And how do we manage those resources to the best of our ability? Like I said, that 20 million, you bought something, you still have to spend a lot of money to retrofit them. That was a very poor decision. And, I don't know. They need to be investigated for that.
All right. But we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back with much more conversation right after this. See you soon.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning.
Ho ho! Deltec Distributors Christmas special is here. Choose from our special meat packages at unbelievable prices. Ho ho! Perfect for your holiday feasts. Hurry! Limited stocks. Order now. 11 pounds chicken, 5 pounds pork, 5 pounds turkey, 1 picnic ham, 1 liter pear jacks, only $500. Ho ho! Order now at DeltecDistributors.com. Call or WhatsApp 359-5040 or 237-0102. Only $20 delivery or come into our main road Argyle store. Ho ho!
There's a village round the corner where Christmas comes alive. Everything Christmas you could think out right in front of your eyes. Hand music playing, you could hear it from a mile. Everybody's singing loud, you know it's Christmas time. Christmas Village, you could find your uncle and auntie at Christmas Village. Buying food, you know it's a plenty. Something for you and the family at Christmas Village. We have ham, cake, lamb, jam, music from the island. Choirs, pan, parang, and someone selling appliance. There will be lights, decorations, and a tree. Drama production, episode 1, 2, and 3. Christmas Village. You could find your mommy and daddy at Christmas Village. Buying toys for nephew and niece at Christmas Village. Something for you and the family at Christmas Village.
This Christmas, believe in magic. Enjoy our comforting deals on furniture that'll leave your loved ones in awe. Only at Standard.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrell Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrell Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Unwrap the magic of Christmas and have the best Christmas ever with a Christmas Wishes loan from Bethel Credit Union.
Up to $20,000 can be yours, so you can take care of all those Christmas expenses. You could even pay off all your debts and your credit card.
Come on down to where we make wishes come through, because we see you
at BCU.
Visit any of our offices today at 31 Bethlehem Road, Bethel, Tobago, or Mount Mary Lower, Scarborough, Tobago.
You can contact us at 639-8226-660-7358 or 631-1336.
Normal lending criteria apply. Think, plan, save with Bethel Credit Union. Because we see you at BCU. We see you at BCU. Come on down, get a loan or two, cause we see you this Christmas at BCU.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now I have been in studio and having the privilege this morning, even though it's a bit overcast and chilly, to chat with Dr. Denise Tsoi-a-Fatt Angus, political leader of the IDA. And we have been chatting on a number of issues. We touched a bit on the new proposed senior citizens bill. We spoke about some of or the crisis that is Tobago's health sector is facing and some of the investments that are proposed to be made there. And as we continue our discussion this morning, you said that there's a disconnect between the THA and Tobago's communities. Expand on that a bit.
If the Tobago, what I said is that really the THA doesn't understand the fragile Tobago economy and economics on a whole. And I go back to this example of the oncology unit. And if there were proper planning, and yes, the oncology unit has to move, should have moved for quite some time now, you build something on the 27 acres that you have close to adjacent to the hospital. You have something purpose-built. It is something that you could have utilized our Tobago contractors to build, so you begin to churn the economy for the Christmas season to ensure that, the money is circulating in the Tobago space. And so that continues not to be the priority. And I think that is one of the greatest challenges we have here, why the people on the ground are not feeling the monies. This administration has gotten the most money out of any previous administration in the past. And the decisions that they are making has not augured well to have that money really reach the people in communities. That monies, you see them spending monies in a lot of legal fees because they have terminated people prematurely and not according to industrial relations standards. So they're paying out a lot of legal fees to settle those, and there are a lot of settlement fees along with that. Recently, with this issue with the incinerator, where there's a $10 million incinerator sitting just waiting to be installed, and TRHA brought in someone a provider to clean up the space, and at the same time, Health has brought in a provider to clean up the space. Now, if you are giving the responsibility to TRHA to do their job in the health sector, why is Health bringing in somebody to clean up the body parts from the incinerator? Allow the TRHA to do its job. So what has now occurred is health provider is there. TRHA had to cancel their contract with their provider and they are now being sued. Another millions of dollars, okay, for just legal fees. What could have done? How many more hampers could we have bought with those $1 million? How many more, medicines we could have bought for senior citizens who cannot afford that they don't have medicines in the pharmacy? Every little bit counts, and therefore a lot of poor decisions are going and monies are being expended in ways. Well, let's not even talk about the travel bill, okay? That has been enormous for this administration. That has also taken a lot of funds from the coffers. So when you have these decisions, and okay, if you don't have money, why are we bringing Buju? At a time when Easter is already a high point for Tobago, you don't have money, but yet we have $8 million to put together a festival for Easter weekend to give Buju and other artists from maybe outside of Tobago. How much money is going to our artists that you put on this show for? How many additional persons are you bringing in? Really? And it may eventually affect the other two festivals because, Chanel, you may decide, well, I have to save my money and go Buju. I ain't going Buku this year. I ain't going Mount Pleasant. I'm saving the money to go Buju because next year, Buku and Mount Pleasant will be there next year. Again, if you don't have money, ask yourself, is Buju really going to bring in additional resources to the island at this time? We have no problem with Buju coming. We have no problem with you putting on that festival. But how many more persons are you going to bring in during already a high season for the island rather than putting it in another space where it's considered to be a low season and then you attract people to the island? So it's decisions like those where you say there is a disconnect. I don't know who is advising them. I don't know if they are having consultations with stakeholders, because I hoped that they had consultations with Buku and Mount Pleasant to ensure that it is not, they are not seeing it as a threat to them and how it's going to affect them. And like I said, it's not only about timing of that. Buku is on Tuesday and Mount Pleasant is on Monday, and therefore Buju is on Sunday, so it doesn't affect them. We're talking about economics.
Right. And do you think that more resources should be placed in developing the already existing festivals, for instance, that Buku, goat racing and Mount Pleasant, which seems to be dwindling a bit and needs the injection of marketing and all the resources that it needs? Because we're seeing a situation where people are flocking to Buku on Tuesday, but the Mount Pleasant festival is suffering a bit. And so that goes back to the representative for the area. It goes back to the village council in Mount Pleasant and them being given the adequate resources to build out that festival so that it can be a staple here on the island.
Clearly, you should be advising them. I totally agree with that. And that is why the IDA has been really advocating for communities to have their own funds. Give the communities their funds. They will determine how much an injection they want to put into the Buku and Mount Pleasant areas to get returns on that. Yes, those festivals need to be strengthened. They have potential, and therefore you don't compete with them, but you look at ways that you can strengthen them going forward, because that is the fabric of the community. I know that when these festivals are complete, these communities take that money and throughout the year, if somebody has a fire, they help out. If a mother, and needs a hamper with the children, they help out. They use those monies throughout the year to sustain their communities.
Personally, I think that both things can happen at the same time. Because I think the Buju Banton concert does draw a wide regional audience, not just the regular domestic tourism that we see happening during Easter. But you have a lot of members of the diaspora saying, okay, well, this is something that I'm willing to go back home for to engage in and can also have a positive impact on the Tobago economy. But the two things can be done.
Then what you do is make sure you give the Buku and Mount Pleasant, give them the extra resources that you think that that would have been affected by people making a choice. Give them the additional resources. But I ask you this Buju just came out a week ago, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So it's supposed to occur in March or April?
I believe it's in April as well.
Okay. You're talking about bringing in people from abroad. How many persons from abroad can really, on a moment's notice, just say, okay, I'm jumping on a plane and coming, I'm taking time off in the next 4 months? We have to start having planning a year ahead so you can give people time to plan, to book, to stay, whatever. There are not that many people who have fluid jobs and fluid resources where they can say, oh, Buju, let me jump on the plane and go. So we have to start having forward planning and not just this last minute planning that plagues this administration.
Understood. And finally, we did not get a chance to chat about the fact that that Tobago autonomy bill was rejected. Well, the constitutional amendment part of it, that is. Do you think that if this bill had been passed, a situation where the senior citizen and pension was concerned could have been handled on the level of the THA, separate and apart from what the national government is doing with that?
No, it would have been worse. Because that bill, the way it's written, would have been dangerous to us as it is. And the bill, as part of the Constitution, would have enshrined that whole legislative way that we have been set out, that would not have given this assembly the room to create the type of legislative framework we need in Tobago. And why we need that new legislative framework in Tobago is to protect us against things like that, that luxury villa purchase, that we have going on there, that you have levels of oversight in the Tobago House of Assembly, that you're not just giving 15 people money or 14 people a budget to manage, but that there are levels of oversight in the legislature continuously that they are looking over. You have the health sector, they're looking into health sector business, they're looking into tourism business, making sure the policies are on track and economically viable for the island. You also need to have that elected Senate to ensure that the fair distribution of resources throughout the island is done. And without that, we are a recipe for disaster, putting additional resources into an executive that is just concerned about themselves and not about the people. Like I said, this administration got a whole lot more. Where did we feel it? Where did we see it? Poor decisions were made. And therefore, given 6.98% to already, a poor decision-making team with no oversight would have been a recipe for disaster, and we could not go back and change it because it was enshrined in the Constitution.
Right.
There are things that the Tobago House of Assembly can do now that they don't need the government or a bill to do. Take, for instance, they can create an oversight committee for health, one that is supposedly independent, made up of experts, made up of civil society, made up of patients, to sit and really look at the way health is evolving, look at their strategies, look at what they're doing, and make recommendations. Yeah? And they could do that now. They could ordain it under the legislative framework, and that team reports to the presiding officer and to the House on what their findings are. And those are things that we can do now. That bill also does not bring and protect communities inside of the bill. Communities need to have their rights enshrined in the Constitution. Why? Because it is time that we have communities have a say. Like I said, we go back to Buku and Mount Pleasant. If they had their own resources, they can decide how they want to do the resources. They don't have to keep begging THA at every point. Lansome will be able to have its village festival and would not be rejected by the Tobago House of Assembly to not have its village festival that has now, demotivated the community because this is something they really wanted to do. If they had their own resources, they have their festival, they turn around the money, they make sure that the young people in the community can find work, have work, and are engaged meaningfully, that the women who do craft and the confectionaries have a space, that they have it for sale, and, keep the community together, close-knit.
And there is the consensus among some that the future of this Tobago autonomy bill and the conversation continuing to happen at the parliamentary level hinges on having the right persons in the parliament, come next general elections to represent Tobago. How do you feel about that?
I'm saying that the autonomy bill rests with the people understanding their power, the communities understanding their rights. That is how we're going to get that bill passed. If people understood their power and communities understood their rights, then we can all stand up for it, and that bill would then have to get passed regardless of who is going down to Parliament, because the communities and the people will be instructing those people. Now, that has not been the case in the past, because we have had people go down to Parliament and we don't hear them because they are aligned with one side or another. So they have to be muzzled and they have to be measured in what they say and what they champion. And so, yes, to some extent, along with the people, it is important that we choose a candidate and candidates to go down there who will not be joining with any part of the government, but your role is to sit in that parliament and champion the issues of Tobago and the issues of Tobago that also reflect and impact the country. Because I do believe that when we talk about Tobago, it is a Tobago that contributes meaningfully to national development. Okay? So those persons will be key in understanding that they are being instructed by the communities and by the people to go down there and say, this is what we want, this is what we're doing, this is what we're voting for down there, and that is when we will be able to get it. And therefore, right now, the only party that is obviously non-aligned is the Innovative Democratic Alliance, because other parties have shown where they have favored in terms of their actions and where they are sending their contracts. They are already showing where they are aligned now, and the previous ones, well, it's obvious they're already aligned.
All right. So we want to thank you so much, Dr. Angus, for your time this morning and giving us your perspectives on all those issues. Again, we want to thank our audience for sticking with us this morning. We want to continue to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. We want to say season's greetings to you. And again, just before we go, we want to remind you that the Christmas Village at the Scarborough Esplanade is taking place and starting from today at 1 p.m. Now, the vending or the Christmas market itself happens from 1 p.m. So from 1 p.m. today, you can pass through the Scarborough Esplanade and buy whatever it is that you want to buy for your Christmas, whether it's some new plants, some new curtains, some lights, because I need to get some of those rain lights. I need some of those rain lights on the porch. So I hope that I can probably get some of those down at the village.
I know some people are actually saying, don't worry, I'm washing my curtain and putting it back up. I can't afford to buy new curtains this Christmas.
No, a lot of persons are saying that,
yes. It's sad.
And based on the economic situation that we're seeing right now, you know, we don't have money to waste.
Yeah.
Right? But for those of you who just have that Christmas bug and you feel like you need to add a new element to your home, even if it's just a new vase.
Just think about the vendors also, because they have families to feed. So even if it's one thing you go and purchase, you know, we all living here together.
Exactly. I probably need a little new welcome mat to wipe your foot on to come in, you know, something that says happy holidays to you. But guys, we want to make sure that we are supporting our local vendors today. So at 1 p.m. you can go down to the Scarborough Esplanade and see what they have going on. You never know, you might be able to win a prize. And from 6 p.m. this is when the show starts, where they have a number of artists. They have ministry in song starting at 6 p.m. And just know that Tobago Updates has exclusive coverage for this Christmas village. So if you are unable to come down and see the show in person, you can tune in to Tobago Updates from 6 p.m. and see all that's happening. Now, there's a lot happening on the islands here. There's a great opportunity for you and your family to get out of the house and have some fun. Now, there's the Botanics Gardens, where you can go see all the lights and enjoy that. You can also go to the Logos boats, get some books for the kids, and when you get off the boat, you can go straight to the Esplanade. You see how much things are happening? We cannot complain this Christmas and say that there isn't any Christmas spirit. The Christmas spirit is well alive here on the island of Tobago. So again, guys, have a great day and see you again tomorrow.